Alright, so the broth is cooled overnight in the pan, and strain everything out. And the fat's solidified, makes it easier to get out with a slotted spoon. And once we do that, then you have your broth left. Don't want a lot of fat in your canned stuff. Okay, the canner. No gaskets. It's heavy aluminum. Weighs about 20 pounds empty. Real heavy unit. And on the lid, there's a rubber plug, which is a safety feature. If it gets overpressure, that'll blow out. You really have to do something wrong though. The vent pipe and the weight, and the gauge. It sets on, locks on. Okay, a few things that you might need. The manual for your canner, and also it helps to have a book like the Blue Book. You can get one at the library, or you can buy one. They're about $10 or $12. Worth the money if you're going to do this. Has all the recipes, different things you can, how to do it, tables, things like that. Countdown timer, if you're forgetful like I am. Some of the tools that come in the kit: magnet, tongs, which I rarely use, and the funnel, which is very important, a wide mouth funnel. Very handy thing to have. Okay, and next you'll need bands and lids. There's two sizes. There's a wide mouth and the regular. And you can reuse the bands, the lids, not so much. And these plastic lids are really handy for putting things away. If you only use half a jar or something, want to put it in the fridge, or storing dry goods in canning jars. Can't use these for canning, but they're good. Jelly or something like that. Okay, so we've got our ham. Like I said, it's about 10 pounds. All diced up pretty evenly. Dump it in the pan. It was cold, it was in the fridge overnight. And add the broth, which is also cold at this point. Okay, once you've added that on, just heat it up. Put it on low, get everything hot. Makes it easier to can anything. There we go, it's simmering nice. Now, most meat will shrink quite a bit once you cook it, so plan on that. If you raw pack meat, you're going to end up with a lot of space in your jars. Okay, lids, they tell you not to boil them now, but simmer them. Okay, here we go. Hot jar. I use the dishwasher. Just put them through a rinse cycle. Keeps them hot and ready, clean. Should put your funnel in there. You don't want to get any grease on the rim of the jar. That's the important thing. Fill your jar up with hot food. Use a slotted spoon or whatever. Makes it easier. I have all the broth and ham together, but it's easier to put the ham in first, make sure it's full, and then fill in the space with the broth. Takes a little while, but it's worth it. If it's bigger pieces, you can get a chopstick or a skewer or something like that that will allow you to move things around, get them rearranged so you have the maximum amount in a jar. And once you get the jar full and settled in, take whatever liquid you're going to use, broth or stock. Sometimes just hot water, a little bit of salt, maybe not, and fill it up. Kind of want to poke things around, stir them around. Don't use metal, they say. You don't want to scratch the jar. And what you're trying to do is get all the air bubbles out. Another reason why raw foods are hard to can is because they do have some air trapped in them sometimes. Just packing it down. And more broth. Fill it up about 1 inch of headspace, which is just about to the bottom of the neck of the jar. Funnel side, and wipe the rim very well. Make sure you get all the grease and everything off. Lid. That's where the magnet comes in handy, so you don't burn your fingers. Just one at a time. And sure it's straight, and screw the ring on. Just finger tight, because it does vent some while it's canning. Lifters, jar is hot and it's heavy, and then keeping the canner hot. Have a low fire underneath it, keeping the water hot, making sure it's preheated. Once again, everything should be hot, clean, and fast. Got it all filled up. Put the lid on. Lock it on with the threads. I usually do opposite sides. Just medium finger tight. Don't have to crank it down. Don't want to damage the canner. Want to make sure it's on straight, especially with a gasketless. Okay, once it's going here, want to wait, heat it up until it vents forcefully for at least 10 minutes. There you can see the steam shooting out of the vent pipe. You can also see it shooting out of the blowout plug. It leaks until it pressurizes. Okay, there's the weight. Since I'm at above 1,500 feet altitude, I use 15 pounds for this. Check your book, see what you want, make sure it rotates freely on there. Okay, and just let it sit, wait for it to come all the way up to temperature. And you're waiting for the telltale sound of hissing and rattling. Sometimes it takes a while. It seems like it takes forever the first time you do it. It does happen, and your gauge will go up, usually about 1 pound over. And there's the weight rattling and hissing. Kind of shake around there a little bit. Once you hear it, you'll know what it is. And set your timer for whatever time is required, and you can moderate your fire. It does it every 15 seconds or so, as long as it rattles. Once it times up, turn your heat off and do nothing. Wait for it to get to absolutely to a zero pressure. Make sure your gauge is absolutely at zero, and your weight, there's no hissing, no rattling, no nothing. Spin it around a little bit. Don't lift it off though. Make sure it's gone. Okay, use your tongs because that thing is hot. It's been steaming for an hour and a half. Set that aside. And slowly and carefully just undo the knobs on your canner. Loosen them all. You don't want to be banging your canner around here, you might damage it or warp it. Okay, when you lift it so the steam vents away from you and the water drains into the pan so you don't burn yourself. You can use a hot pad for that if you want, or mitts. Okay, now, don't do anything else. Wait at least 10 minutes. Let them sit in the canner. Helps to keep from shocking your jars. And once your 10 minutes is up, get your lifter and pick the jars out. I can decide which one I'm going to lift out. And make sure you're under the rim of the jar when you lift like that. Don't want to drop one, they're boiling hot. And set them a couple inches apart on a clean dry towel, fold it up, give them room, and they'll stay hot for hours. Thanks.